So at first it seemed like the Wolves were trading up for Garland, and now they have Jarrett Culver. Whether that was their plan or not, we don't know. But all we can do now is talk about how he fits in with this team. So the thing with Culver is you hope that he can be a really versatile wing, where he can just kind of do a little bit of everything, whether that's make open jumpers or occasionally go off the dribble and make a play in the half court, grab some rebounds, have some exciting plays in transition, finish some plays in transition himself, and just overall be a nice contributor in all areas of the game. Now, I guess the flip side of that is the fear is he's not necessarily great at anything, but I think there's enough things that he's competent at already to assume that he's going to be, maybe in time, maybe right away, who really knows, a pretty good NBA player. I mean, I guess these are comparisons that I've made before. Like, maybe he doesn't really pop as a scorer, but his all-around game is still pretty strong. I can picture him being like a Nicholas Batum kind of guy when he was with the Blazers, but if Culver's scoring does take off a bit and he's able to refine the handle a little bit and the pull-up game and all that stuff ends up being pretty good, I could picture kind of like Caron Butler, the low 20s sort of scorer. So I do think there's potential for Culver to be pretty good. And you look at this Wolves team, and I mean, they're desperate for talent around Towns. I mean, how many legit good players do they have around their center? I would say Covington is definitely one. Derrick Rose was good this previous year, and we don't know if he's going to be back here. Teague is meh at this point. Wiggins is, of course, who he is. Josh Okogie is definitely intriguing for his defense and his hustle plays and all that, but we don't know what his ceiling is offensively. So yeah, there's just not a lot here, and I think that's partly why we're starting to hear rumors that the Wolves are dead set on getting D'Angelo Russell, even though their cap situation would suggest they don't really have a chance to get him. There's a chance that the Wolves are going to start getting a little desperate in terms of adding talent here, because they realize while they do have a lot of time with Towns' contract, the clock is still ticking. So if Culver can be an actual player for them, then that would be amazing, and if he ends up sucking, that would be kind of a disaster. I do not think he's going to suck. Anyway, I guess the first thing to look at is, can he be a guy who can make plays off the dribble, and can he have some sort of a two-man game with Towns? I think the jury is still out on that one. There's a chance that Culver could end up being a wing who you can give the ball to a lot, and you can rely on him for pick and rolls and playmaking and things like that. There's also a chance that he just kind of ends up being like Evan Turner in that department, which is like, yeah, he can dribble, but he's not actually good enough to beat anybody off the bounce, so we'll have to hope he's not that. But I do think it's safe to say the Wolves are still going to need a real point guard, and there's some more D'Angelo Russell rumors for you. Because I don't think it's going to be fair to ask Culver to be some point forward, basically. I don't think he's ever going to get to that level. I think at his very best, it could be a secondary sort of playmaker, which is still pretty good, and we could see some plays with him and Towns, pick and rolls, pick and pops, and if he could know how to throw an entry pass, that'd be really cool as well. But again, I don't think Culver is ever going to be running this team's offense. Now, this could be good for Wiggins, potentially, because it's one other guy who could take the ball out of his hands, because I think at this point, if Wiggins is just going to be like a spot shooter who then makes plays in transition and cuts to the basket, that might be about all you can ask for at this point. I mean, I know it's annoying, the Wiggins situation, the contract he's on, and there's a million reasons to get mad at the guy, but you just have to deal with the fact that you've got him. So if Culver can take the ball out of his hands, that could be nice. Potentially, Culver could create some shots for Covington, one of the better floor spacers in the league, of course. I also think the defensive potential with Culver and Covington could be pretty good if Wiggins wants to step up his defense. That would be awesome as well. I think Towns definitely got better defensively once they acquired Covington, so could be the beginning of a real defensive team forming in Minnesota. We're still going to have to see there. I don't think Towns has put in enough good defensive minutes for us to assume that he is going to be at least an above average defensive 5, but we can at least be a little excited. And of course, Covington is great, and Culver projects to be, I think, at his worst, still a solid defensive player. I don't know if he has potential to be a great one because his size is like just a little too short. Like, you wish he was an inch and a half taller. You wish his wingspan was a little more out there. But even so, he should be pretty good. And next to Covington, that's hopefully good enough. The interesting thing, I think, would be if the Wolves could play Covington or Culver at the 4 moving forward. I think those would be their only options, because that would put as much spacing as possible around Towns, of course. I don't think they really tried that much last year. Looking at the lineup stuff, with Covington and Towns on the floor, they pretty much always shared the floor with Taj Gibson, so maybe it's a thing, maybe it isn't, I don't know. To get back to Culver, there are some things he's going to have to work on. I did mention the form on his jumper. It's not the best right now. And also there's fears with his shooting just in general, because his percentages in college, not the best. I mean, 71% from the line and 30% from 3. Now, he did take a lot of threes in college, which could be intriguing. Confidence to take them, I guess. The other thing is, he does have a little bit of a long 2 tendency, which you already got the king of those on this team with Wiggins, so hopefully he doesn't pick up that habit from his teammate. We'll just have to see. Looking at anyone else that the Wolves could have drafted here, again, it seemed like they really wanted Garland and they didn't think Cleveland was going to take him. I don't know if that's really true. Could they have gone with Kobe White? Yes, they definitely could have, but I don't think it's ridiculous to think Culver has a higher ceiling than White, and apparently they have some roadmap to get D'Angelo Russell. I'm just going to trust them on this one. I don't know what it is, besides giving away a bunch of assets, like picks and all that, to get off of salary. But apparently they're willing to go that route. So you know what? If D'Angelo Russell ends up on this team and they knew it was going to happen, then I'm not going to kill them for selecting a wing. Anyway, I think that's it. The Wolves are hoping that they're going to get an awesome all-around player in Culver, who can make some shots and make some plays off the dribble and average, 17 points, 7 rebounds, and 5 assists, and play good defense his whole career. But there's also a chance they drafted the next Evan Turner, a guy who can dribble, but you don't really want to give him the ball, and he can't shoot, and it's overall just kind of meh. I would like to think it's going to be more positive with Culver, but it's a possibility. We'll have to see.